These are the first public remarks that I have made since my running mate was nearly assassinated for the second time yesterday. And President Trump, I was actually sitting at home in Cincinnati with my 7-year-old, and I get a phone call, and it says Donald J. Trump. So I answer it, and he says, "JD, you're not going to believe this, but they tried to do it again." And I said, "No, they didn't. You're joshing me. What's going on here, sir?" And he says, "No, I was playing golf, and the Secret Service found somebody who was trying to shoot me." And I say, "Oh, my Lord, sir, I'm so glad you're okay. I mean, are you doing okay? Are you not just physically okay, but everything's fine?" He said, "Yeah, I'm doing fine." And this is just who Donald Trump is. He said, I'm a little mad because I was about to make a birdie putt on the 6th hole, and they wouldn't let me finish." And the guy's literally like, this happened. I mean, he calls me right after. This is 10 minutes after, and he's pissed off that they won't let him finish his birdie putt right after they found a guy with an AK-47. But by the way, that is kind of the guy that you want to be president of the United States, right? Who's fazed by nothing, who's telling jokes afterwards. I think I was, without a question, bothered by it more than he was, and I was in Cincinnati, Ohio, 100 miles away from where this went down. But I do think that we should take this opportunity to call for a reduction in the ridiculous and inflammatory political rhetoric coming from too many corners of our politics. She is running away from every single position that she has had for 3.5 years. She's running away from every position she's had for 20 years. But we can't let people forget. And when you're out there knocking on doors, let's remind everybody that this is not a person who is run as a reasonable moderate. This is not a person who is governed as a reasonable moderate. As much as Kamala Harris pretends that she agrees with Donald Trump on everything, we know the real deal, governed as a successful president, doesn't just pretend now that he's running that he believes those things. He actually did them as president. He lowered inflation. He secured the border. He made our streets safer, and that's why we have to put him back in the White House. Look, we can disagree with one another, we can debate one another, but we cannot tell the American people that one candidate is a fascist, and if he's elected, it is going to be the end of American democracy. See Kamala Harris say, on day one, we're going to tackle the food affordability crisis that affects our country. On day one, we're going to tackle the housing costs that affect our country. On day one, she says, we are going to secure that southern border. And all of us with common sense are listening and saying, Kamala Harris, day one was 1,400 days ago. What have you been doing with all of that power the American people gave you? Now, Katie Britt and I have only been in politics for all of 2 years, so maybe we just haven't been in politics long enough to not be ashamed at the sitting vice president staring at the American people and telling them that she's going to do something on day one that she hasn't done for 3.5 years. I think that takes a special level of shame. And unfortunately, Kamala Harris is maybe the most shameless politician that we have had in the United States in 40 years. And that is maybe reason number one why we cannot let Kamala Harris get a promotion to President of the United States. Because as much as she talks a good game, she is governed in a way that has destroyed public safety, that has raised the cost of groceries, that has raised the cost of housing.